Hello and welcome back to Power Skills with Janna. I'm Janna Jones, your leadership development specialist, coach, and mentor. And I really am so glad that you're here today. Strap in because we are going to dive into a topic that has transformed my own career and those of countless leaders that I worked with. Let's look at how you can seek out a mentor and create your own mentoring relationship. I have led structured, formal mentoring programs throughout my career, and I wanted to create this episode to let you know that you don't necessarily need one. I mean, it helps, of course, but if you're a proactive person focused on your own career growth and development, you can figure this one out on your own. And as a result, set yourself apart from your peers. Let's be real. Mentoring isn't about finding a magical guru who hands you success anyway. It's about building a genuine relationship that sparks growth, offers perspective, and accelerates your career. Today, we will consider why mentoring is so valuable for all professionals at all stages of their career, share stories of how it's changed lives, and give you practical tools to find and cultivate your own mentoring partnership. Let's turn mentoring from a buzzword or some external program that you got voluntold to go on to into your personal career accelerator, one intentional connection at a time. Now, while I have your captive attention, may I make a request? If you are loving these episodes, please do hit subscribe wherever you listen to. It really means the world to me personally. And perhaps you may even go so far as to share this with a colleague. This helps me to reach more switched on leaders, much like yourself. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump straight into it. Why mentoring matters for career growth. As always, I want to start with why. Because mentoring isn't just nice advice, it's a proven career booster. Research from the Center for Talent and Innovation shows that mentored professionals are 5 times more likely to be promoted and 20% higher job satisfaction occurs. Why? Because mentors provide guidance, open doors, and help you to navigate challenges that you can't necessarily see on your own. Neuroscience gives some way to explain the magic as well, because mentoring activates the brain's mirror neurons, letting you learn by observing, and releases oxytocin for trust building bonds. It's capacity building at its finest. It's like upgrading your operating system faster, smarter, more resilient. I had a mentor really early on in my career who challenged my thinking through a tough project. Her questions like, what's your end game? What's your ultimate outcome that we can hope for here? And how can we reverse engineer it to get there? That shifted me from reactive into strategic thinking. That one relationship gave me a perspective that helped make proposals to senior leaders an easier yes. I can honestly say it accelerated my growth by years. For early career folks, mentoring builds foundational skills. Mid career, it can help you to navigate plateaus. And for senior leaders, perhaps it's a consideration or refinement of legacy and impact. In today's fast changing world, a mentor isn't a luxury. It may very well be your growth edge. Step one is to consider, refine, or clarify what it is that you need from a mentoring relationship. Mentoring starts first with self awareness. Knowing what you want or need really does matter here. Start by reflecting on your goals. Consider things like, where am I stuck? Or what skills do I need for career growth? It might be strategic thinking or negotiation, for example. Define the relationship. Do you need a sounding board, a sponsor, or a role model? Be really specific here because mentors can be sponsors too, as long as that you're willing to put in the work. Then identify your gaps. Perhaps you might list 3 strengths and 3 areas for development as well. This may help to guide you in your search. I did a brief coaching program with a mid-career leader who felt stalled at best and stuck at worst. She clarified that she was struggling with executive presence and didn't know where to get those insights from. In discussing this as a focus for a mentoring relationship, that clarity led her to the perfect match, a senior executive who helped her to refine her board and executive presentations and engagement so that she could consistently put her best foot forward and demonstrate clear value. Clarity turns vague wants into targeted requests. Step two, now you can start to identify potential mentors. And trust me, mentors are closer than you think because they also get something out of the process too. Here's how to spot them. Look in your network. Perhaps it's a gentle LinkedIn stalk, past and present colleagues, alumni, or even industry events. Who has the career that you want or the experience that you really need, and who inspires you? Seek out diversity as well. This is more important than most people realize. Choosing someone with different experiences, perhaps cross industry background, or something that you'll get a lot of fresh perspective from, and making connections into the crossovers and transference of skills that you may not even realize immediately. And start small. Perhaps you may attend a talk that they give or connect on LinkedIn with a genuine compliment or ask if you can buy them a coffee and pick their brain. Jumping straight into what I need is fraught with danger. So definitely start small. A client that I worked with last year was seeking out a mentor for innovation. He reached out to a LinkedIn contact whose post really resonated, saying, "Your article on agile teams sparked an idea. Do you mind if I share it?" That led to a coffee chat and then some ongoing guidance catch ups. Mentors don't fall from the sky. They are very unlikely to ask to mentor you. You actually have to build the bridge, but it's worth it. Step three, it's time to make the ask thoughtfully. The request is, of course, key, and you know this person enough to know whether to make it formal or informal. We're looking for an easy yes here. Show preparation. Share why you're approaching them. For example, I've been reviewing my career goals and considering my current challenges in my team, and your experience in scaling teams in a way that is still values aligned and authentic is incredibly inspiring to me. Then be specific. For example, would you be open to connecting with me once a month? I'd be more than happy to buy you a coffee just so that I can pick your brain and get some insights from you. Then you may want to offer value, something like, perhaps in return, I could also share some insights from my area of the business that you may not see at the level that you're at. I once asked a mentor, "Your work changed how I lead. Could we have a chat quarterly on applying it and contextualizing it to all layers of leadership?" This is an academic mentor, by the way. I should have said that. And their work in terms of their study did actually change how I lead. He said yes, because I had respected his time and we had a shared commitment that I knew he was starting to consider contextualizing that study to the industry. And those were insights that I could share as well. For early careers, ask for advice on skills. Mid-career leaders, you might want to get a little bit more strategic. And senior leaders, legacy may be your jam. I've been talking with some leaders lately who are a couple of years away from retirement, and I said to them, "Well, great. How are you going to impart your knowledge? What do you want to share with others? What legacy do you want to leave behind?" And they're all baffled. It's not something that they've thought about before, but are very interested in doing. So perhaps that's you. Thoughtful asks or thoughtful requests can really build mutual respect. So consider how you might approach that. Step four is, of course, about how you nurture the relationship because mentoring is a two-way street. But as the mentee, you are the one that needs to do the work to sustain it. Prepare for meetings. Come with questions and updates on what you've done since your last connection. Your preparation and ownership of the connection shows that you value that person's time and you are serious about your growth and development. And follow through. If they have taken the time to give you some feedback, it's important that you report back. You might say something like, when you shared with me how you deal with difficult conversations, it really prompted me to tackle something that I had been ignoring. Look, it wasn't perfect, but I felt more confident going into it than I probably had before. Again, you're letting them know that you value their time and the insights that they're sharing and are actually proactively utilizing it back in your work. That can only build trust. And then I would recommend giving back where you can. Perhaps you may like to share articles or introduction. Reciprocity strengthens bonds. Sometimes acknowledgement and shared gratitude are just as valuable too. So, for example, sometimes a mentee will thank me for something that they found particularly valuable. And I'll think to myself, perhaps my team may also value these insights. It all certainly helps. A senior leader that I coached was mentoring a mid career employee. The mentee's follow through, implementing advice, and sharing results made it abundantly clear that this person was passionate and proactive in their work. When it came time for the organization to consider a step up opportunity to lead a new project, it was easy for that leader to recommend their mentee. Sometimes mentoring can really lead to sponsorship as well, but again, only if you're willing to pull it in the work. So nurture and lead that connection, and it will likely grow. Step 5 is all about knowing when to evolve or to expand, because mentoring relationships aren't forever. It may be important to know when to adapt and to determine what that transition may look like. Perhaps you might assess your own progress quarterly. You may like to ask yourself, is this still serving us? Sometimes your mentor may actually ask you the same thing, especially if your goals may have shifted and they no longer align with their experience. But as the person leading the connection, you should consider this for yourself at regular intervals. Honestly, it's okay if the relationship isn't serving you both anymore. It doesn't mean you no longer have a relationship. It may just mean that you've achieved your goal and what you set out to do. So you can shift to more infrequent connections. Most mentors still want to keep connected on your growth, of course. That helps them to be your sponsors in future as well. Perhaps you might like to expand your circle, add mentors for different needs. For example, one for skills, one for strategy. They may be short term or long term, internal or external. That is entirely up to you, but don't overcommit. It is more valuable to have one great mentoring partnership than a few that are rushed or something to just check off your to-do list. And don't forget to pay it forward. I always ask people this, especially those who are seeking to develop their own leadership. Become a mentor. It reinforces your growth. It helps you to see insights from someone else's perspective and to understand the challenges that more junior employees may face. It really is a win-win. The client that I worked with had an informal mentor for around 2 years, and it was amazing. And then she was devastated because it just didn't seem to be as productive anymore. She was trying to force this ongoing mentoring relationship, but they'd outgrown that. In having a conversation about her goals, achievement, and what's next and what's now possible, her mentor actually recommended someone else, and then they continued their relationship more as peers and friends. Evolving a relationship is not cause for concern. It actually keeps mentoring fresh. All right, let's consider some power practices to amplify your mentoring experience. Here are 5 actionable practices that you can start today. Goal check for clarity. List 3 things that you would value mentoring advice on, insights, or feedback this week. Do a network scan. Identify 2 potential mentors that are already in your circle. And rehearse the request, perhaps jotting down 3 sentences and practice it. Send a follow-up note. So after a conversation, I like to send thanks and one takeaway or something that I'm going to take action on, for example, and give back generously. Perhaps you might like to share a relevant resource with a potential mentor, for example. Okay, friends, let's take the time now to pause together. Grab a pen to write down your answers if it's safe for you to do so, or simply think through these, but make sure that you dig deep because you only get out what you put in. What is one area that you need mentoring for in your own career growth? Who in your network inspires you and why? What is one fear that's holding you back from making the request? And how might you give back in a mentoring relationship? These are your stepping stones to stronger connections and also making it a much easier request for yourself. Your challenge this week, should you choose to accept it, and please, I hope that you do, pick one potential mentor, write a thoughtful request. For example, I really admire your specific strength, and I'm working on a specific goal around this. Would you perhaps have 30 minutes in the next few weeks that we may be able to connect? I'd really value your insights. I know that I've just made that seem way easier than it potentially feels right now, but trust me, that first ask, it may just create a ripple effect that helps to shift your whole career in a new trajectory. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to join me in today's episode. Remember that mentoring isn't magic. It is intentional connection that accelerates career growth. By proactively seeking out and nurturing that relationship, you really can amplify your potential. If this resonated with you or you're going to try this out back in your own workplace, I would love to hear about it. So please do not hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Power Skills Development, or visit www.powerskillsdevelopment.com. While you're there, you can also subscribe to Power Pause for our fortnightly leadership nudges. They have all of these reflection prompts and power practices built into those emails as well, so that you can always go back and reflect. And don't forget to share this episode with someone who is ready to grow. Perhaps it's a resource that you share to give back or to support growth and development of your team, a la self-determination theory. Until next time, stay curious, stay intentional as you seek out the right mentor for you. Let's all empower powerfully, one relationship at a time. Enjoy the rest of your week.